this year's September Sanchalana. Dear teachers, welcome to our second Sanchalana for the year. ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಂವರ್ಧನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಸಂಚಲನಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಈ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 2 ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡೋಣ. The part 2 is a continuation of our previous module, which is Experiential Activities. In this module, we are going to go through 3 major segments, beginning with grammar, then prose, and then poetry. Each segment will take us through an experiential learning activity that can be used in your English language classroom, followed by suggestions on how to extend the activity for different goals and different levels of learners. The explainer videos, activity demonstration videos, and teaching material creation videos shown in the segments are available on the Teachopia app, along with additional video resources. The additional resources include audiovisual aid for storytelling of prose and recitation of poetry from the textbook used in the classroom. These resources are available for grades 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Well, without further ado, let's begin with nouns. To learn nouns, we will use an activity called the marketplace. Using this activity, we can cover the following learning outcomes. We can identify and categorize nouns, respond to questions regarding nouns, use nouns to list out favorite persons, animals, and things from those regions and places. The methodology that we are going to use for this particular activity is recreating real-life scenarios. A scenario is an everyday activity related to the real world in a learner's life. For example, using public transportation, going to the market, etc. Use of real-life scenarios in language learning is it helps learners to practice using the target language in a realistic way or in a genuine format of communication. The goal of this activity is to expose learners to the types of nouns, to help them form connections with nouns through real-life scenarios, to give them conversation templates to practice asking questions and giving responses regarding nouns, and assist them with input and translation when required.
Before you do this activity, ensure you have introduced learners to the basic concept of nouns.
Children, do you remember what we learned about nouns?
Use the help of resources such as this video explaining the basic concept of nouns on the Teachopia app.
Hello friends, today we are going on a fun journey to discover nouns. My name is Nauni. I will help you understand what nouns are. Nouns are the building blocks of sentences and help us talk about people, places, things, and ideas. So, let's begin. Nouns are words that name things we can see, touch, hear, or imagine. Let us look around and see if we can spot some nouns. That is a tree. Yes, the tree is a noun. That is a cat. Yes, the word cat is a noun. Can you see any more nouns? Yes, the word boy is also a noun. Now, there are different types of nouns. Let's discover them together. The first type of noun is common noun. Common nouns are general names for people, animals, and things like boy, girl, dog, or flower. For example, when we say school, we are talking about a common place and not specifying the name of the school. The word children is also a common noun. When we say the children are playing in the park, we are talking about a group of children, not naming any girl or boy in particular. The next type of noun is a proper noun. Proper nouns are specific names for particular people and things. Words like the name of people, like Sujata and Varun, are proper nouns. Similarly, words like India, Mysore, and Karnataka are also proper nouns. My name is Nauni. The word Nauni is also a proper noun.
Hi,
Hello. What is your name?
my name is Chimpu.
Nice to meet you, Chimpu. The word Chimpu is also a proper noun. Can you find a proper noun here?
Is it the word Kaveri River?
Yes, the word Kaveri is a proper noun because it's the specific name of this beautiful river in Karnataka. The next type of noun is collective noun. These are words for groups of nouns or a group of things. For example, look at these birds that are flying together. They are called a flock of birds. Can you see many cows together? They are a herd of cows. And can you see all these monkeys on the trees? They are a troop of monkeys. So the words flock, herd, and troop are all collective nouns. Now, can you help me identify the nouns in these sentences? The child is playing with a ball. Now tell me, what are the nouns in this sentence? Very good. Child and ball is the correct answer. Now, we can see Preeti loves eating samosas. Very good. Here, Preeti is the name of the girl and samosas is the thing she is eating. The birds are flying in the sky. Excellent. Here, the nouns are birds and sky. You have done a wonderful job here. Now, let us see how to use nouns in sentences. Remember, a sentence must have a noun and a verb. Here are some examples of nouns: book, boy, dog. Now, can you make sentences using these words? Maya reads a book. The boy runs. The dog barks. Well done. Now let us do a quick recap of what we have learned about nouns today. Nouns are words that name people, places, things, and ideas. There are different types of nouns. Proper nouns, these are specific names of people, animals, and things, like the words Nauni, Sujata, and Varun. The next is common nouns. These are general names for people, animals, and things, like school, boy, and girl. The next we saw collective nouns. These are words for groups of nouns or things, like flock of birds, herd of cows, troop of monkeys. Good job, everyone. Now, you can use nouns every day. Goodbye, everybody.
Once you are sure they understand the basic concept of nouns, inform the learners that there are different types of nouns.
Children, there are many different types of nouns.
Demonstrate this with an activity. First, pick a suitable prose or poetry chapter that learners are familiar with. Let us use the chapter A Jolly Ride on Namma Metro from grade 4 as an example.
Children, open your textbook to the chapter A Jolly Ride on Namma Metro.
Ask the children to underline a few types of nouns in the text, like names of people, names of places, or names of things.
Children, can you find the names of places in the story now? Underline them for me.
And so on. Now, ask the learners if they have been in a marketplace before.
Children, have you been to a market before? ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ನೀವು ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ಎಂದಾದರೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Inform them that you are going to transform the classroom into a marketplace.
Let's imagine the classroom is a marketplace. ತರಗತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಒಂದು ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಎಂದು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
Give them as many details regarding the marketplace to fuel their imagination.
Imagine our classroom is a big market with many things for people to buy.
Move aside tables and chairs to make more space for the students to imagine a market. Select some learners to be shopkeepers and some learners to be customers.
Children, on this side, you will be shopkeepers. Children, on this side, you will be customers.
If possible, allow the shopkeepers to set up their shops using tables. Ask the shopkeepers to plan a few things in order to set up the shop.
Shopkeepers, come up with these details. ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ವಿವರಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಉತ್ತರ ನೀಡಿ. First, name of the shop. Second, name the items your shop has. And third, name of the place the items are from.
Tell them to use the words they underlined in the text to create these details.
Use the different names of people, places, and things you underlined in your textbook to set up your shop.
For example, they can use the names of people to come up with the name of the shop. Like names of people, say Apurva or Satvik, can be used to create names of the shop. For example, the name of the store is Apurva Stores or Satvik Stores. Examples: I sell cycles. Our cycles are made in Bengaluru. As they come up with the names, assist them with different ideas and help them get creative.
ಸಂಜನಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂಗಡಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಅಪೂರ್ವ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಅಪೂರ್ವಸ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯೋಣ.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Tell the other learners who are customers to walk around the market and find out more about each shop.
Customers, walk around the market and find out what the different kinds of shops are.
As they interact, the learners will naturally use nouns to interact with each other. That is, they will ask questions about and give responses using nouns. Allow them to do this in whatever language they feel comfortable with, even if it is their mother tongue.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂಗಡಿಯ ಹೆಸರೇನು?
Valli Cycle Shop. After some time, introduce learners to a template to talk to each other in English as they interact in the marketplace.
Children, try and talk to each other this way. For example, the customer says, "What is the name of your shop?" To which the shopkeeper can reply, "The name of my shop is dash." The customer can again ask, "What is the item you are selling?" The shopkeeper can reply by saying, "I am selling dash." The customer then asks, "Where do you get it from?" The shopkeeper can reply to that by saying, "I get it from dash."
As they continue their interaction in the marketplace, ensure that they are practicing using the template with each other. What is the name of your shop?
My shop's name is Valli Fashion Store.
What is the item you are selling? I am selling cycles.
Once this exercise is done, ask the learners questions that help them recollect information about the types of nouns they have used in their conversation.
What were the different shop names we heard?
Valli's Cycle Shop.
Apurva's handrail store. Through their responses, introduce them to different types of nouns and help them categorize them.
Good. When we give something a specific name, for example, a person, a shop, or a school, they are called proper nouns.
Reiterate with many examples from the text and from their environment.
For example, Apurva, Valli Cycle Shop, Nandini Milk Shop, or Bengaluru.
Continue this process for different types of nouns.
Here are some ways we can extend this activity. We can ask the children to assemble items from the classrooms. For example, objects starting with A, then B, then C, and so on. Once they assemble these items, we can ask them to become shopkeeper and create a board of the name of their shop and talk about the list of items they have in their shop. Here are some examples of the types of items learners can collect according to the different letters. Another way we can extend this activity is have conversations for specific types of nouns, for example, countable and uncountable nouns. Here, we pick scenarios where these type of nouns are used and help children to use them in conversation with each other.
Shilpa, you want to buy milk from Ravi. You can say, "I need some milk."
I need some milk. Now, let's move on to the next topic in the grammar segment, adjectives. To learn adjectives, we will use an activity called What is it? Using this activity, we can cover the following learning outcomes given in the text. We can identify and understand adjectives. We can understand the use of adjectives. We can use adjectives appropriately. And we can use adjectives to describe an image. The method that we are going to use for this activity is mental imagery. What is mental imagery? It is the ability to create a visual representation in your mind. How is this helpful in language learning? It helps learners associate words with concepts in a more meaningful way. What is the goal of this activity? The goal of this activity is to provide learners with the exposure to adjectives and help them form connections to adjectives using their own mental imagery. Then, we help them practice speaking about adjectives using conversation templates while providing translation and input where necessary.
Begin the activity by asking the learners to tell you their favorite type of breakfast.
Children, tell me what you like to eat for breakfast. ಬೆಳಗಿನ ತಿಂಡಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಾಷ್ಟಾಗೆ ಏನು ತಿನ್ನಲು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡುತ್ತೀರಿ?
Masala dosa.
Idli chutney.
After a few guesses, inform them you're going to play a game.
Let's play a game. Think of your favorite dish. Can you imagine it? Think of every single detail about it. Look, smell, feel, and taste. Don't tell anyone in the class about it. If I call your name, you will come to the front of the class and help everyone guess what it is by giving clues.
Translate this if required in order to help them understand the instructions.
ಒಂದು ಆಟ ಆಡೋಣ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಷ್ಟದ ಆಹಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಬೇಡಿ. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಕರೆದರೆ ನೀವು ತರಗತಿಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಷ್ಟದ ಆಹಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸುಳಿವುಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ. ಆ ಮೂಲಕ ಅದು ಏನೆಂದು ಊಹಿಸಲು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ.
Start the game with a trial round. Call any child to the front of the class.
Ravi, do you have your favorite food item in mind?
Yes, ma'am. At first, allow the learner to give clues by themselves, even if it is in their mother tongue.
Help your friends guess it. ಅದು ಏನೆಂದು ಊಹಿಸಲು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ.
This will naturally help them to think of adjectives and help them form connections to the concept. ದೋಸೆಯನ್ನು ವಿವರಿಸಲು ನಾನು ಯಾವ ಪದಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸಬೇಕು? ಇದು ರುಚಿಕರವಾಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಆಲೂಗಡ್ಡೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ತಿಂತೇವೆ. Now, encourage other learners in the classroom to ask questions and get more clues from the learner standing in front.
ನೀವು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Ask him questions.
ಅದು ಯಾವ ಬಣ್ಣ?
ಅದು ಹುಳಿಯಾಗಿದೆಯೇ?
Now, assist the learners with some input to help them ask more descriptive questions.
Children, let me help you. Why don't you ask him questions that can help you imagine what he is talking about?
You can do this by relating the questions to their senses.
First, let's ask about how it looks. ಇದು ನೋಡಲು ಹೇಗಿದೆ ರವಿ?
ಅದು ಉದ್ದವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಕಂದು ಬಣ್ಣದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತದೆ. As they interact, use the opportunity and help the learners use the correct English words.
ನೀವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು, it is long and brown.
This will help learners understand how adjectives are used in English in an experiential way. It is long and brown. Do the same for every sensory-based question.
Next, let us find out how does it feel. ಈಗ ಅದರ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶದ ಅನುಭವ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಎಂದು ತಿಳಿಯೋಣ. How does it smell? ಅದರ ವಾಸನೆ ಹೇಗಿದೆ?
And so on. Wait for the learners to ask these questions and get the right clues. ಅದು ಗರಿಗರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ.
Is it dosa?
Once they guess, inform the learners that they used the help of adjectives or descriptive words to find the answer.
Children, you used descriptive words to help you guess what Ravi was thinking.
Relate it back to the game they played to help them reflect on what they did.
Descriptive words are any words that help us understand how something looks, tastes, smells, feels, or even sounds. Just like the words Ravi used to help you understand he was talking about a dosa.
Help them learn different descriptive words according to each of their senses.
Words like small is sanna, colorful is varnaranjita, and so on.
Use the following sensory adjective chart given on the Teachopia for reference. Now, repeat the game again, this time asking them to try and use the English adjective words they learned.
Deepti, help your friends guess your favorite food by using descriptive words in English that we have learned.
Provide them with a template to use describing words according to the senses.
You can say it is dash. For example, it is sweet. Adu sihiyagide. Or it is brown. Adu ಕಂದು ಬಣ್ಣದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತದೆ.
It is white. It is round. Here are some ways we can extend this activity. Once you have introduced the English terminology, ask the children to bring a special object from their home and ask them to describe it for the class using descriptive words in English. Provide them with a template to do this. For example, this is a mug, it is red and hard. While teaching prose or poetry, you can introduce children to personality adjectives that will help them describe a person or character from the story. Give them a template once again to use these adjectives. Let's take an example from the chapter The Farmer and His Friends. Using the template, the dash was dash, we can describe the farmer this way. The farmer was kind. Let's look at another example from the chapter The King's Minister. We can describe the fox with the template like this. The fox was wise and smart. You can help learners learn different kinds of personality adjectives by using the personality adjectives suggestion sheet on Teachopia for reference.
Now, let's move on to the next grammar concept, prefixes and suffixes. To understand these concepts, we will use an activity called the word clock. Using this activity, we will try to achieve the following learning outcome. Uses root words and prefixes and suffixes to create new words.
Methodology we will use for this activity is body movements and play. What is body movement in language? This could be actions, posture, facial expressions, etc. How do we use it in language? This is a range of non-verbal signals that can be used to communicate the meaning and intention of language to learners in a much more fun and effective way. The goal of this activity is to provide exposure to prefixes and help learners form connections to the meaning of the concept through actions and movements, then help them practice using prefixes or combining prefixes with root words using a simple tool, while also providing input and instruction throughout the activity wherever necessary. Here are some materials you will need for this activity. Root word cards that can be made using A4 size sheets or chart sheets. And you will also need prefix word cards that can be also made using A4 size sheets or chart sheets.
Call about 5 to 6 students to the front of the class and ask them to make a circle around you.
Ravi, Sahana, Shilpa, Banu, and Rahul, come here and make a circle for me?
Once they make this circle, distribute the root cards to them. Have each of them read out the word you have given them.
Like.
Comfortable.
Read.
Do. Now, stand in the circle and give them some instructions.
Children, we are going to do an activity. I want you to follow my instructions carefully. When I point to you and make a particular sound, you will do something different with the word in your hand.
Choose 3 prefixes for the sounds and introduce the learners to them. Ensure they have heard you clearly before you proceed.
The first sound is re. The next sound is un. The third sound is dis.
List out and explain the actions they are to perform during the activity according to each sound you make.
Children, here are some instructions when you hear the sounds I make. I will stand in the middle of the circle and point at any one of you. If I say re, you will say the word in your hand twice. For example, read, read. When I say un, you will say not first and then say the word in your hand. For example, not comfortable. When I say the word dis, you will shake your head and say the word in your hand. For example, shake your head and say the word like.
Have a few trial rounds till children get it right.
Re.
Read, read.
Do not worry about calling out the right prefix for the word. Focus on helping children understand the meaning of prefixes first.
Un.
Not like.
This will help them form connections with the meaning and purpose of a prefix before they learn to combine it with a root word. Once they are familiar with actions, introduce prefixes by relating the meaning of the root words back to the game.
Pre, dis, and un are words that are called prefixes. Prefixes change the meaning of the words when they are added before a word. For example, the word re means do it again, or un means not.
Use the prefix chart suggestion sheet to help you explain the meaning of different prefixes. Explain to them how prefixes are added to base words and inform them that not all prefixes can be used on all words.
We can only use some types of prefixes with some types of words. Here are some examples.
Help them understand how to combine prefixes with a simple tool, the prefix belt.
Let's learn prefixes through the prefix belt.
Let's learn how to make it.
To make a prefix belt, you will need 2 sketch pens of different colors and a ruler. Let's create a prefix belt. First, take a colored sheet to make the first strip. Ensure the thickness of the strip is about 6 to 7 inches before you cut. Cut the strip and keep it aside. Next, take another color sheet to make the second strip. Ensure that this strip is also going to be 6 to 7 inches wide. Cut the strip and keep it aside. Now, measure along the thickness of the second strip to make a line on the top and bottom of the right side of the first strip. Make an incision with the blade on both lines and measure to make sure there is enough distance between both. Now, insert the vertical strip into the horizontal strip. Next, write the prefix word on the horizontal strip. Next, make sure you write the root word in the inserted portion of the vertical strip. Move the horizontal strip downwards and write root words as you go. Your prefix strip is ready. Move the strip up and down to ensure learners learn to combine the correct prefix word with the correct root words.
You can use the same process to explain suffixes also.
You can also create a suffix belt using the same two strips. Now, let's move on to our prose segment. To achieve the learning outcomes for prose, we will use an activity called thumbs up, thumbs down. The learning outcomes chosen for prose in this module are participates in activities in English like group discussion, thinks critically, compares and contrasts characters, events, ideas, and themes and relates them to life. The method we would be using for this activity is expression and reflection using opinion statements. What are opinion statements? They are viewpoints or reflections of learners on a matter, a person, an event, and so on. What is the use of opinion statements in language learning? It helps learners reflect on ideas, concepts, characters, events, etc., and helps them express it in the target language. The goal of this activity is to provide learners with an exposure to opinion statements and help them form connections by expressing their opinion through reflection. Then, we help them practice speaking about their opinions using paired and group discussion while providing translation and input whenever necessary.
Have the learners sit comfortably and show them two actions: thumbs up and thumbs down. Explain that thumbs up means they agree and thumbs down means they don't agree.
Children, when I show my thumb this way, it means you agree with what I'm saying. ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವುದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತೀರಿ ಎಂದು ಅರ್ಥ. When I show my thumb this way, it means you don't agree with me. ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವುದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಒಪ್ಪುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಅರ್ಥ.
Reinforce the English terminology used for these expressions through translation in the language familiar to them.
Agree ಎಂದರೆ ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತೇನೆ. Disagree ಎಂದರೆ ಒಪ್ಪುವುದಿಲ್ಲ.
Now, make general statements in front of the children and ask them to show if they agree or disagree.
Chocolate ice cream is not tasty. Show me if you agree or disagree. ನೀವು ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಒಪ್ಪುವುದಿಲ್ಲವೇ?
After a few rounds, give them a speaking template to express if they agree or disagree with you.
When you agree, say, I agree. When you disagree, say, I disagree.
Ensure they are responding to you as you say the sentence. Reinforce it with a question.
Cricket is the best game. Do you agree?
I agree.
I disagree.
If learners are able, ask them to give you a reason.
Shrishti, why do you disagree? ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವುದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಏಕೆ ಒಪ್ಪುವುದಿಲ್ಲ?
Encourage them to give you a reason, even if it is in their mother tongue.
There is no right or wrong answer. I want to hear how you feel. ನಿಮಗೇಕೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಿ.
Once they respond,
ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ನೀರಸವಾಗಿದೆ. ನನಗೆ ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಇಷ್ಟ.
help them frame their opinion and reason with the help of a template.
ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯಿಸಬಹುದು. I disagree because cricket is boring.
Explain to them that this is called reason.
ನೀವು ಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ರೀಸನ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ.
Reinforce the template for them as they give you reasons.
After you say, I agree or I disagree, you will say because and give your reason. Because ನಂತರ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತೀರಿ.
Reinforce the template for them as they give you reasons. I disagree because dash. I agree because dash. Help them practice giving you their opinion and reason a few times.
I disagree because ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ನೀರಸವಾಗಿದೆ.
I agree because cricket ತುಂಬಾ ಮಜವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Once they are familiar with giving you their opinion, begin using it with the prose chapter you are teaching. First, read the chapter with them.
Okay, children. Today, we are going to read a very interesting chapter called Farmer and His Friends.
Once the chapter is done, divide the children into groups or pairs. Prepare ahead and make a few statements about the chapter. This can be about the character, events, or even the moral. For example, this section of the chapter talks about the farmer's relationship with the animals. Your statement can be, the farmer loved his animals. The statements don't have to be true, but rather related to the chapter. For example, the farmer hated the animals. This will help the learners form opinions and reason better. Now, present one statement at a time to the learners.
The farmer did not love his animals.
Divide the learners into pairs or groups and ask them to discuss their opinion with one another.
Children, I want you to tell each other if you agree or disagree. Along with that, tell them the reason.
Remind them of the template first.
Remember, children, you will say it this way. I disagree because dash. I agree because dash.
As they are discussing, walk around the classroom and help phrase the sentences. That is, opinion and reasons in English.
I disagree because ರೈತ ತಾನು ಸಾಕಿದ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದನು ಮತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದನು. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ he was friendly with the animals ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಬಹುದು.
I disagree because he was friendly with the animals, ma'am.
Good job.
There are many ways you can extend this activity. For younger learners, you can use a thumbs up and thumbs down props to help them understand the concept of agreeing and disagreeing more concretely. For older learners, ask them to add more reasons to their opinions through questioning. This will help them sharpen their reflective skills. I disagree because cricket is boring.
Why do you think cricket is boring?
In our final segment, we are going to look at a very interesting poetry activity called In the Cave. We will see how we can achieve the learning outcome, recites and shares poems through this activity. The methodology that we are going to use in this activity is call and response for intonation. What is intonation? The rise and fall of your voice when you speak is called intonation. What is the use of intonation in language learning? It helps learners practice the variations in tone and pitch while speaking, reciting, reading, etc. in the target language. The goal of this activity is to expose learners to intonation in recitation. We will do this by helping them form connections with pitch and tone through character voices. We will help them practice these different pitch and tone variations through a call and response methodology. And we will facilitate the entire activity and assist them with this activity. Here are the general instructions for the cave activity. This activity is done by asking learners to imagine a cave where one can hear an echo of themselves when they speak. The teacher will tell the learners that she is a person in the cave and they are her echo, ensuring that the children repeat what she says exactly the way she says it. This will help learners use a variation in pitch and tone while reciting a poem that they are to learn in the class, therefore helping them with their intonation. Let's watch a demonstration of this.
To recite a poem correctly, we need to use the correct intonation, a variation in the pitch of our voice to help us express language better. During this exercise, we will be creative and ask the children to echo us in a high-pitch intonation and a low-pitch intonation before helping them recite the poem with the right combination of higher and lower pitches of intonations. Today, I am your teacher Samara, and these two are my students. Children, now imagine we're all in a cave. Now in the cave, you are my echo. Whatever I say, you have to say it back to me exactly the way I say it. Imagine I am a mouse. How does a mouse sound? Good. Now let's see if you can be my echo. Oh, what a big cave!
Oh, what a big cave!
I want to recite a poem here.
I want to recite a poem here.
Up the street I look to see.
Up the street I look to see.
If any traffic's near to me.
If any traffic's near to me.
Down the street I look as well.
Down the street I look as well.
And listen for a horn or bell.
And listen for a horn or bell.
Very good. Now I am a lion. What does the lion say?
Roar!
Very good. Now let's try that again. Up the street I look to see.
Up the street I look to see.
If any traffic's near to me.
If any traffic's near to me.
Down the street I look as well.
Down the street I look as well.
And listen for a horn or bell.
And listen for a horn or bell.
Wonderful, children. Now I am your teacher Samara. Let's try and say it the way it should be. Up the street I look to see.
Up the street I look to see
If any traffic's near to me.
if any traffic's near to me.
Down the street I look as well.
Down the street I look as well.
And listen for a horn or bell.
And listen for a horn or bell.
Wonderful! You have done a very good job at being my echo.
To make this a regular practice for learners to learn pronunciation, intonation, and recitation in English, make a corner of your classroom the cave corner. You can get creative and ask learners to make their own rocks or bring large stones from outside to help them recreate the environment.
Now that we've come to the end of our module, let's try and see where we can find the resources we've been talking about to you all throughout our module. You will find it on our app, Teachopia. Once you download the app and open it, it will show you a home page. And once this screen appears on your mobile phones, you can click on the content button right below. The content will lead you to two kinds of content: curricular content and other content. You can choose the grade that you want to prepare on. Once you do so, it will open to the various subjects that are available: math, EVS, and English for 4th grade. When we choose English, we're going to get a list of chapters available for the subject and the grade. Once you choose your grade and your language and the chapter that you require, you will be given a list of resources like concept guide and lesson plans, which are both available in English and Kannada, and the newest edition called audio visual resources. This is what we've been telling you all throughout our module. These resources will lead you to 3 kinds of audio-visual files, which are hard words, poetry recitation, and story reading. Clicking on those will lead you to videos that you can use in your classroom to explain hard words, to have their right kind of pronunciation. You can also use them to recite a poem with the right kind of intonation and had the story read out for the children in the form of a video. Thank you very much for your patience, and we hope you all had a lovely learning experience. You can wait for more of these in the upcoming months. Thank you.